Don't let anyone in the WNBA ever lie to you and tell you they don't consider Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese to be a rivalry. The commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, had said it was good for the game and increasing interest in the past, and the schedule makers told you as such as well, given the Fever and the Sky will open up their seasons against one another. Caitlin Clark's second season, Stephanie White as the coach of the Fever. There couldn't be more hype to see what Clark does as an encore. And I don't think it's a coincidence that first game will be against Reese and the Sky. Now, personally, I don't quite see them as rivals as far as, who's the better player. I think Clark is clearly there as the better player, but there is a level of engagement, a level of hype every time they face off. And of course, Angel Reese is a star in her own right. The WNBA season actually begins the day before. You'll see Paige Becker's first game that day. She will be facing off against the Minnesota Lynx, assuming Dallas, of course, drafts Becker's. You'll see the Aces and the Liberty, their first games are against one another. But the highlight matchup will be on the second day of the season as Clark and Reese face off again. The last time that happened was Barbie night, and Clark wound up signing some Barbie towels for Sky fans. Anyhow, here is the way that schedule looks right here. This is from the WNBA. As you can see, Atlanta and Washington, Minnesota and Dallas, the first game for the Valkyries on that opening night. The season runs from May 16th to September 11th. But there you see those three games the first night. And then the second day, you have Chicago and Indiana, Vegas and New York, Seattle and Phoenix. Here is the Indiana Fever's schedule, because I know there will be feverish demand to see that. Full schedule for the Fever: Chicago, Atlanta, New York, Washington, Connecticut, Washington to begin it. Commissioner's Cup games, it looks like highlighted in yellow there, but their season goes from the 17th to the 9th of September. Man, May is a long ways away. Here is how the Fever actually revealed that schedule, and they know their social media team has been on point because they understand what kind of hype this team has.
Such an incredible moment on a global scale for our game, for our players.
It's like the fans are absolutely incredible. It's the same when we go on the road. Like, there's so many people that are showing up in Fever gear. It's really affecting, teams all across our league, which is a really great thing. And, really, I think we're just scratching the surface.
I will always embrace it. I don't think any of us will ever take it for granted.
A Caitlin Fleury. There could be some more coming.
The atmosphere is electric here.
Some fans traveling almost 9,000 miles to get here.
The incoming fans, I value who they were and what they try to bring to our group and bring to the city of Indianapolis.
They have sold out every game they've played in this year except 3.
Embracing opportunities to play in front of a lot of fans.
Behind the back again for Clark, giving her another assist and a chance.
I mean, hearing them cheer every possession is exactly what we need every single night.
Boston there with the reverse.
Seed it, and give it to her.
This place is electric. Draws 2 in the corner. Oh, you bet. We're seeing here, and that's why it's been so fun to cover the Fever and the Fever fans across the country and other WNBA arenas.
17,608 fans in the building. We're bringing more and more fans to this league, people that have maybe never watched the WNBA before, and it kind of takes your breath away at points. Like, it's not something you look around and you're like, oh yeah, like, no, it's like super cool. It's very cool to us too.
All right, I'm hyped. I'm officially hyped. Too bad it's still months and months away. January, February, March, April, May, 5 months away from the start of the Fever season, almost another half of a year. That's going to feel like forever. Luckily, we do have the expansion draft coming up. We will have Unrivaled starting in January. We will have WNBA free agency, which I believe is in February. We will have March Madness, which speaks for itself. Then we will have the WNBA draft. But who isn't, fiending to see the Fever play some basketball right now. And the WNBA as a whole, their offseason is way too long. There's the schedule again. You look at it, and last year it's funny because you would go win-loss, and it'd be pretty easy to delineate. And notice that they have Kelsey Mitchell up there on the graphic, which I don't know if that's telling or not, but an indication that they believe she will be a part of the team that's playing in the 2025 season. But I don't think you can go with this current Fever team and whatever additions they make and the new coach and say any game is a loss, right? Like, the expectations for the Fever are going to be competing for that championship and perhaps winning the championship. They should be looked at as a contender immediately. So you no longer play that game where you say, oh, they got the Aces on the schedule or the Liberty on the schedule or the Lynx on the schedule, and that's an L, or the Sun, whoever. The expectation should be for them to win. Now, the Sky, obviously, who they start the season with, it's a little bit of a different story. Some growing pains for that team. They just hired a new coach as well in Tyler Marsh. We'll see the leap Angel Reese makes in her second season. How they integrate Camila Cardoso more. It doesn't seem like Kennedy Carter really has a future there, but that was a team that sort of spiraled at the end of last season. I don't think they have the same level of expectations, no diss, obviously, as the Indiana Fever, but there is always that level of intrigue when you can put Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese in the same headline. I mean, that's worked. That's been a formula that has worked for years now. Angel actually spoke on that the other day and had some really eloquent comments, I thought, about all that. And they can say it's not a rivalry, and fans can say it's not a rivalry, but the media and the league has embraced it as, whether or not you want to use the term rivalry, certainly a driver of eyeballs and interest and audience. So there you have it. And that's going to be the headline takeaway from the WNBA's schedule release, is that the first game for each of their respective seasons, their second seasons, Reese and Clark, will be against one another. But, for Fever fans, they're probably going to start feverishly looking through that entire thing to see how they feel about it. But yeah, I guess my initial excitement is then like, oh man, that's a long way away. But the Fever understand the assignment themselves. The way that they've been rolling all this out, they get that they're the biggest show in town, the biggest show in the league, and really one of the biggest shows in sports. That hype is only going to continue to build until we see the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark back out on a basketball court.